You know, everybody wants to see you and Canelo Alvarez.
And this is a good fight. This is an amazing fight.
Do you think you can beat Canelo?
Yeah, I think so.
He better think so.
Golovkin versus Canelo has finally been made. The magnitude of this fight will really be reflected by its pay-per-view numbers. I think we will see it break the largest UFC numbers ever recorded, which is a huge boost considering, quite frankly, boxing has been on the major downturn since the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight in terms of pay-per-views.
If it was the so-called fight of the century, it was the Boer or Khan of the century.
But the style clash between these two is guaranteed to be electric, which will certainly help benefit the sport we all love and help gain a wider audience, putting boxing back in the mainstream again.
And in the end, he gave them what he had promised. Big drama shows.
You may have seen my last video counting down my reasons for Canelo's chances to win the fight. Well, today we'll be flipping the script and taking a look at the betting favorite, Triple G's chances.
I want this fight. For this fight, I'm very mad. I'm very excited. You know, I'm like an animal for this fight.
As the legend of Triple G continues to grow, it's already a legend. It can get very big.
Triple G has put himself in glorious position to become the longest reigning middleweight champion of all time in terms of title defenses. As it stands, he is only 2 fights away from the current record holder, Bernard Hopkins, and as we have heard Gennady say many times, his goal has always been to leave his stamp on the 160-pound division.
I need my belt. My goal is all the belts in the middle division.
Breaking this prestigious record guarantees his name will remain in the history books for as long as we live. If that doesn't spur you on to go out and give it your best in the ring, I don't know what will.
Just give me my belt. Hey, I need my belt. I'm ready, guys.
Even though Canelo has fought more times in a professional ring, Gennady's pro and amateur fights combined certainly give him the edge in terms of ring experience in my view.
I had good amateur career, 315 fights. I don't know how lost, maybe 3, maybe maximum 5. You know, I had fight every week. Hard time for me.
I'm not sure of the exact numbers, but I'm certain 350 amateur fights plus nearly 40 pro fights ranks him close or inside the top 30 most fought men in history. That's a hell of a lot of training camps and fights. It must almost be so routine for Gennady at this point, it's like any other fight. We know for sure this will rank in Canelo's top 2 hardest fights ever, alongside the Mayweather fight. And as I'm sure you guys are already aware, he lost that one, which will most likely be in the back of his mind in the build-up to this fight.
He did not know how to get him. It's simple as that. He's very intelligent, he's very elusive, and that's what he demonstrated tonight.
Just a little stat in case you were unaware of it. In Gennady's 400-plus fight career, he has never been knocked out, and even more surprisingly, has never even tasted the canvas once. Such a feat that no one in the whole history of the sport can claim it.
Because you've never been knocked down, you've never been knocked out.
Never.
24 consecutive knockouts.
Yeah.
For me, the standout factor in Gennady's offensive arsenal is his raw power. There is certainly something different in the way he throws his power punches compared to the large majority of other boxers today.
I think he's a pretty good fighter, real hard puncher. A lot of knockouts that packs the seats. The explosive knockouts like Golovkin does. That really, people really like that stuff.
We have seen him take out many boxers with a body shot, headshot, and whatever punch this is called. It's not just the spectacular angles he uses to throw his punches, but also the snap he generates at the end of each blow to really inflict serious damage. Take a look at this segment from the Kell Brook fight. I remember watching this fight live, and as soon as Triple G unleashed this devastating combo, the end was near, despite the contest being pretty close at the time.
A lot of punches, but I gotta tell you, Jim, Kell Brook got some jaw. I mean, I haven't seen a guy stand there and trade with Gennady Golovkin in God knows how long.
That's how you break a man down with power punches. Gennady has a huge KO percentage of 89% out of his 37 pro fights so far, an outrageous stat for a middleweight.
And after the second round, I understand it is not boxing. I need street fight. Like, you know, just broke him.
It
confused him. Because the jab confused him, it took him out of his normal element. With that being said, the boxer outsmarted the puncher, and he pulled off a wonderful, spectacular victory tonight.
Fans of the sweet science know there is a lot more to Gennady's game than just power. Adaptation is key to controlling a fight, and as we mentioned in our previous video, Gennady has the ability to adapt his style in the early stages of a fight to nullify his opponent's key assets. For instance, when he fought Willie Monroe Jr., who we know is a slick fighter with a lot of skill but lacks any real KO power, Gennady forced him to throw punches by keeping his hands down on purpose to goad him into
You gotta
battle.
throw power punches when he throws, because when you throw those little punches, as we saw against Daniel Gill, Gennady will walk through those little punches.
Those are big shots Monroe's hitting Golovkin
That's
with.
exactly right. That's exactly right. He got
Golovkin essentially nullified the one advantage Monroe had over him in the first place, to box effectively moving backwards. Picture yourself in a ring with a man that is known to be a devastating puncher. You're boxing very cautious, but all of a sudden he drops his hands and allows you to unleash the best you've got. Would you ignore his obvious attempts to upset your game plan, or try to take him out in front of a bloodthirsty audience? The answer for many would be to engage and try to achieve every boxer's dream outcome of a fight, and that's to score a knockout. Unfortunately for Monroe, he did try to fight, and that's what got him brutalized over the next few rounds.
He like points like tick 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 tick. He's nothing, you know.
Gennady has met his fair share of power punchers throughout his reign so far as well. Curtis Stevens certainly carried a legit threat going into his bout with Triple G, and David Lemieux is undoubtedly one of the hardest punchers in boxing today, but Golovkin was fully aware of that. The way Gennady took away Lemieux's ability to land any significant power punches was really impressive, switching his style completely and controlling the center of the ring with his masterful jab. Lemieux clearly tried his best, but the ring IQ difference in the fight was comparable to Albert Einstein versus Kim Kardashian, a whole lot. Canelo is much more aware of Gennady's little tricks than his other opponents were, but the beautiful art of ring generalship lies with Triple G as far as I'm concerned.
My new impression, Roy. He just looks so long and rangy in there. There's no room for the other guy. That was a phenomenal performance.
Elaborating more from our previous category, we now need to think about how both men will approach the contest in terms of style. One thing's for sure, Canelo has the better ability to throw punches moving backwards and can fight extremely well off the ropes. Gennady, on the other hand, is all about applying constant pressure to his man, without smothering like Roberto Duran or Henry Armstrong did. You could almost compare it, for example, to how Anthony Joshua likes to dictate the fight. The goal is to apply pressure by moving to a perfect range for letting your jabs off, without having to worry about one of Canelo's dangerous uppercuts getting through. Once you found that range and you're comfortable, your whole night's work just becomes that little bit easier.
When you hit somebody with that jab, you want them to feel it, you know? You don't want a person to run in and, oh, he got a jab, he's just slapping it, and he just walked through it, you know what I mean? When they feel that jab, they're gonna think twice before they want to get hit again with it.
Golovkin has the reach advantage over Canelo, and his swift footwork should allow him to take control of the middle of the ring where he loves to fight. We decided to list these two categories together, considering they ultimately bring the same advantage to the ring. Golovkin is 37-0 with 33 knockouts and is widely considered the most dangerous man in boxing.
The last fighter to arouse the passion of boxing fans with a knockout streak like Golovkin's was more than 25 years ago when Mike Tyson began his career with 17 straight knockouts and was seen for a while, like Golovkin, as being virtually unbeatable.
Similar to Mike Tyson, Gennady brings that fear factor to the ring. Like the old saying goes, they were beat before they entered the ring.
Here comes Mike Spikes in. He leads to the right hand. Down he goes. I don't think he'll get up from this.
In this case, it's impossible to know if Canelo is that fearful of Golovkin to the point he might freeze on fight night. But it's certainly a possibility, considering the blatant ducking Canelo has done over the last 18 months.
And I think it's time now where Canelo needs to step in with Triple G because everyone's been waiting for that fight. So I showed my balls by getting in the ring and getting in the ring with a big guy.
He took the risk. He gave up everything. No concessions. Now it's time for him to take the risk and quit hiding behind little stuff, okay?
What happens in the gym stays in the gym. Well, for the most part anyway.
Who is it?
Yo, have y'all sparred? Somebody said y'all sparred together before.
Sparring
That's true?
together, yeah, that's true.
Who won the sparring match?
No, this is sparring against, no.
Wasn't like real hitting?
No, not real. Just I help him, he helped me, like that, you know.
There have been 2 sparring sessions between Canelo and Triple G within the last few years. Everything was kept very quiet about what happened in those sessions, but ring spectator Doug Fisher was there for one of the sessions, and he's already let the cat out of the bag, so to speak, in saying that Golovkin hurt Canelo during the one session he saw and that he wore him down with power shots in a fast pace. I quote, "Golovkin was not supposed to give Canelo the full treatment, and it was clear from the sparring I saw that he was indeed holding back. Still, Golovkin holding back was a lot for Canelo, only 20 at the time, to deal with. He couldn't hurt Golovkin with his best shots. Golovkin hurt Alvarez a few times. A hook at the end of the second round visibly stunned him, and some body shots made him wince. But the young man kept his head and found ways to compete even when he was clearly tired in the last 2 rounds. So whether that old sparring session is anything to go by, Triple G seems to already have gotten the better of Canelo before, but it was a long time ago. I do think, of course, it's something worth mentioning." I already gave my final prediction for the fight in the previous video, so if you haven't checked it out already, be sure to watch it after this. I would just like to quickly point out the things that are absolutely vital for Triple G to win this fight. He needs to assert his authority in the bout from the opening seconds. Once Canelo finds a rhythm, he's a tricky guy to unsettle. Perhaps people might say Lara and Mayweather outboxed him, but their styles are literally the complete opposite to Gennadi's. Golovkin has every ability to take control of the center ring and dominate with his superior footwork and jab, but whether he can stick to such a difficult plan is yet to be seen. That's why I'll say it again, this fight will be an awesome spectacle of 2 power punchers with great ring savvy going at it, so be sure to support boxing by buying the pay-per-view if you can. Until next time, fight fans, this is Boxing Legends TV, signing off.